In addition to being a founding member of the Beatles and one of the most sacred art portraits in recent history, Harrison garnered a community of loved ones and fans who will never forget what his lifetime has to offer. George Harrison joined the Beatles when he was only 15 years old. Despite his youth, he defied all expectations of incompetence and would go on to write some of the band's most famous hits, including the songs Higher Comes the Sun and Something. Unfortunately, a career that started at a young age will also end at a young age, and in 2001, when he was just 58 years old, Harrison died of cancer in the company of his wife Olivia and their son, Donnie. According to the Oral Cancer Foundation and Rolling Stone, Harrison's cancer originated in his throat, but after successful treatment, cancer was found in his lungs several years later, and it also spread to his brain. George Harrison has been married twice, first to Pattie Boyd in 1966, and then to Olivia Arias in 1978. Despite the bad ending, her relationship with Boyd became one of the most famous love stories in music history. While George and Boyd were both friends with Eric Clapton, at that time Eric famously fell in love with Boyd and confessed his feelings to him through a letter he sent personally, and he also wrote a song called Layla for Boyd. Then after Harrison and Boyd ended their relationship in 1977, and Boyd married Eric Clapton. Then his second marriage to Olivia Arias in 1978, George Harrison became a father, because in August of the same year the couple was blessed with a son named Donnie, who is the only child Harrison ever had. At the time of his death, George Harrison's net worth was around $400 million. Despite his successful Beatles legacy and the royalties he earned from his contributions to the band, most of Harrison's income can be attributed to his solo career, and in addition to the inheritance his family members received after his death, many charities including George Harrison's Material World Foundation became beneficiaries of his will. Then in 2020, the Material World Foundation donated $500,000 for COVID relief efforts. The main recipients of Harrison's fortune are Donnie and Olivia. Most of his income is $400 million, and every royalty from his music goes to his wife and son. At the time of his death, George Harrison was the second richest Beatle after Paul McCartney. Following in his father's footsteps, Donnie Harrison has made a living on stage and in the sound booth as a professional musician. At the age of 43, he remains active in the music community and pays homage to his father's legacy through his work. In 2021, Donnie Harrison and collaborator and fellow musician named Paul Hicks produced an updated version of his late father's iconic album, All Things Must Pass, for the record's 50th anniversary. 20 years after her husband's death, Olivia Harrison lives a substantial life as a writer, film producer, and philanthropist. He has devoted much of his time and financial resources to helping those in need through entities such as UNICEF and George Harrison's Material World Foundation. According to ABTC, which also reported that he and former Beatles Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr and Yoko Ono run business operations. The Beatles are ongoing through their company, namely AppleCore. He also regularly attends events and ceremonies commemorating George along with his former surviving bandmates. Olivia Harrison never remarried after her husband's death, and she remains close to her son.